Good morning, beloveds. So I have two things. One, the cats are actively avoiding this room now, which I find really interesting. It's kind of a hot mess. And as I say that, here comes Foster. They're not hanging out in here. But the other thing is I had a rough night's sleep. I just woke up a lot. But at 4:33, and the number is significant for a reason, I went to the bathroom and I was standing in the doorway to the bathroom, which means my alarm clock, which is one of those little red things, was across the room. And I realized I could see it and I could read it. It wasn't this red blur. I could actually see that the clock said 4:33. That is super exciting. My cataract surgery was 2 weeks ago, about now, because it happened around 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that. So, Foster, okay. So I'm super jazzed. That first week after the surgery, my brain just kind of flipped out. So the recovery has been interesting. But yay! So that's where we're at. Okay. It is August 3rd. Our title is Feeling Secure. The first quote is, "Neither shall they say, Lo here, or Lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you." And that is Luke 17:21. The second quote is, "The greatest good that can come to anyone is the forming within them of an absolute certainty of themselves and of their relationship to the universe, that there can never come a time when they shall stop progressing, that age is an illusion, that limitation is a mistake, that unhappiness is ignorance." And that is The Science of Mind, page 180. I'm still looking for that sweet spot in my reading. It's either close one eye or get it far enough away. What is it that makes us feel insecure? Is it not doubts, fears, distrusts, and negative imaginings that enter one's mind? Immediate circumstances may be unstable and somewhat gloomy, but not everyone involved feels hopelessly insecure. There are those who have discovered that their security is not in things and conditions of experience, but in their faith and optimistic outlook upon life. They know that human life is fluid in nature and that it is undergoing constant change. Those who doubt, fear, and distrust change, expecting only negative results from it, attempt to accumulate what they regard as good, safely protect it, and use it sparingly. They are like the man in the parable who was given 1 talent by his master to invest. The man was so afraid of losing it that he hid the talent and returned it to his master upon his return. His master condemned him for not at least putting the money at interest. Be not afraid of losing what you have accumulated. Affirm your oneness with life and the universe and God, knowing that nothing can stop permanently the unfolding of good for you. That change is essential to growth, that growing spiritually awakens a feeling of security. If God is for us, who can be against us? Asked St. Paul. I know the kingdom of God within me is the source of all I can ever want or desire. I refuse to be intimidated by threatening appearances. I trust in God's kingdom within. And that is WK. I have no idea who WK is. So let's find out really quick. Wesley Wayne Kintner. Okay, Wesley. So there's a lot in that, and I'm going to acknowledge right up front that a lot of us are going to have some unhealed stuff around that, the feeling of security, the feeling of safety. And so straight up, I'm going to remind you that kind of stuff is the kind of stuff you want. That's the attitude you take into treatment. You treat to have that attitude all the time, because a lot of us don't have that all the time. A lot of us have worked on it and have gotten a lot better, but I want to acknowledge up front, there's a lot of unhealed stuff around around feeling safe and secure. God bless, I will just acknowledge, being a woman, sets us a little further back on that. And if you deviate from, I hate to say this, but if you're not a straight white male, we all have issues with this. If you are, 1, a woman, 2, a person of color, 3, have a different gender identity, or sexual orientation, all of us work with feelings of security. And that's one of the things that I love about Science of Mind, is Science of Mind says who you are. We don't accept you despite, we accept you all the way. We never had rules about women being practitioners. We never had rules that we had to roll back about gender identity. We never had rules about any of that. Ernest said, be who you are. Come as you are. Be who you are. We love all of that. So, and we love you for it. Not despite it, for it. And that's one of the things where a lot of Christian denominations can make me a little, it's because we love you despite. No. If you can't accept me as I am, if you're going to tolerate me, I don't want to be a part of it. Because God made us in this infinite variety, gave us this infinite variety of ways to express, and we need to learn to celebrate those differences, to acknowledge, to celebrate, to affirm people for who they are, to meet them where they are, and realize. I saw a really incredible meme. It's not about us. Who people are is not about us. And once we can let go of that, honestly, that can go a lot of the way to our feeling of security. It's like, what you think about me is none of my business. And when I can accept that and realize that the only person that I have to answer to about who I am, as long as I'm not hurting anybody, okay, because there is that, as long as I'm the only person I have to answer to is me. I have to answer to the source of my own being. And the source of my own being is okay with however I choose to express, in any way. Now, there are considerations that we take for other people. But you know what? If you're going to tolerate me, I'm going to find other people to be around. And that goes a long way to that safety and security. And that's the good thing, where we can make those choices. That's one I really resonated with. I'm not even going to go there with Luke. Okay, I'm just not. But I am going to go there with the Science of Mind quote. The greatest good can come to anyone is the forming within themselves of an absolute certainty of themselves and their relationship with the universe. Because who I am is between me and God, between me and spirit, between me and the universe. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And that's the freedom that the source of our own being has given to all of us. Yes, there are social contracts. Frankly, I think a whole lot of those social contracts just need to widen their parameters, but we're working on that. We're working on that. So, it's between me and God. If I'm okay with God, and then God's okay with me. God is never gonna judge us because we are not outside of God. That's the argument that Reverend Jesse uses. Nothing is outside of God. That's why God can't judge us, and that's pretty incredible. So he starts off. Wesley starts off with, what is it that makes us feel insecure? doubts, fears, distrust, negative imaginings that enter one's minds. Frequently, we're so busy planning what could go wrong that we forget that that's just us misusing our imagination. You know what? And I'm guilty of it. I have anxiety. I do. I work on it, and I work on it a lot, and sometimes I work on it more than others. And so I can get really worried about what other people think of me. And when I'm in a good place, I realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm holding up my end of the social contract of showing up, doing my job, being a good person, not harming anybody, not harming myself, then what other people think of me doesn't matter. Where are you going? Are you going to go get in the camera? Foster's very fascinated by this morning. Okay. So there are those who have discovered that the security is not in things and conditions of experience, but in their faith and optimistic outlook on life. And that's the hard part, the optimistic outlook on life. The willingness and the ability to say, it's gonna be okay. The secret to positive people is not that everything's okay all the time. It's that they know that no matter what is going on in the moment, and it can get ugly and messy and all of that, they know that it's going to be okay. They know that they can get through it. And sometimes they can get through it on their own, and sometimes they need that support center, the people around them that love them and care about them. They can go to them and say, hey, I'm really struggling right now. And, get that extra support. They know it's going to be okay in the end. It can be a hot mess right now, but it's going to be okay in the end. And that's where that feeling of security comes from, is knowing that no matter what happens, it's going to be okay in the end. And this world can get messy. And one of the things is the willingness to accept that this vehicle is temporary. I'm not going to be in it forever. But the next experience is going to be good. So knowing that I'm going to continue unfold. Ernest makes up words. To unfold. To know that, which takes a little bit of the sting out of knowing that this body isn't going to live forever. This spirit is going to live forever, but this body isn't. And I can accept that. That. Do not get me wrong. When people leave, it's hard. It's hard. Be they, four-leggeds with fur, because it's been a week with him. Or if it's a friend, because, it's been a little over a week for one of those. It's going to be okay in the end. And that sometimes is what we have to hold on to. Okay. So those who doubt, fear, distrust change, expecting only negative results from it, attempt to accumulate. That's how we turn into hoarders. I do have issues with hoarding. I'm a book hoarder. I claim it. I'm just going to say I'm a book dragon. That's my hoard. I hoard books. But even there, I'm trying to get really good. It's like, if I've read a book and I'm like, okay, it was okay, the question becomes, will I ever read it again? If I will read it again, then I will keep it. And if I will never touch it, if I will never read it again, then I'm going to pass it on to somebody else. So that's how I'm working on my hoarding. But that's some of it. We try to accumulate material goods to help with our feeling of security. And that's not where it is. That's not where it is. It is about our relationship with the universe. And all of the material goods in the world are not going to do anything for that relationship with the universe, that relationship with spirit. That's what spiritual practice is for. And when we're good with the universe, change is a whole lot easier. I'm not going to say change isn't going to be hard, because it is, but it gets easier, and it helps us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And no, it's not an oncoming train. So, okay. I'm not even going to touch the parable. I'm not. So, be not afraid of losing what you have accumulated. Yeah. I let 5 grocery sacks of clothes go yesterday. And I have probably at least that much that needs to go sitting. But that was stuff that needed to go to one of the shredding companies. They turn it into insulation. This stuff is actually usable and needs to go to somebody, one of those companies where they're actually will pass the clothes on because they're wearable. I just don't fit in them anymore. So, be not afraid of losing what you have accumulated. Sometimes what we need to do is unpack our insulation, and stuff can insulate us from the rest of the world. Okay. But if it is a book and you will read it, reread it, you have my permission to keep it. Not that you need my permission, but you know what I mean. It's kind of that Maria Kondo, does this make you happy? Does this bring you joy? If it brings you joy, figure it out. And if it doesn't bring you joy, let it go. Okay. I think I'm good. I think I've said what I'm going to say. I'm not going to read back through it. I'm still, like I said, figuring out that sweet spot. But the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is going to be, okay. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to work on our understanding that human life is fluid in nature and that it is undergoing constant change, and that is okay. That's the mission. As we get okay with the idea of change, and release the need to hold tight to our situation, as we work on our relationship with the universe, then that positive outlook of knowing it's going to be okay, even if it's a hot mess right now, that's what we're doing. Okay, so that's the mission. And then, as always, I do suggest you do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. I've started leaning into, yes, it's both self-care and making sure that you are making a point to enjoy something every day. Okay? We do need to take care of ourselves. It's very important. But we also need to make sure that we're enjoying life. God wants us to enjoy life. So, self-care can look like taking a nap. But it can also look like eating a really fantastic meal and really, really enjoying it, making sure that you are tasting everything in it. Okay? So, self-care. Enjoy. Spiritual practice. Honest to God, it is a spiritual practice to do the loving, kind, compassionate thing for yourself. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. Okay? And practice on yourself. Create that bank so that you have enough to share on days that you need a little extra, or you meet somebody else that needs a little extra. All right? Okay. So the rest of it's all the stuff that you know. To make sure you do something to engage your mind and your body today, to drink plenty of water. It is still very hot. Please drink that water. And get that early in your day bright light. It will help you to reset your energy and sleep patterns. And that is science. And open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around you all the time. Because it is a state of mind. It is a state of consciousness, which means we can create it wherever we are, no matter what is going on around us. Okay? It is about that relationship with the universe and learning to feel secure. It may also be being bitten by a cat. When I say that, it's the love nip play. So, okay. Somebody needs a claw clip. All right. Catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. Email info@creativelife.org if you want to know what's going on. We have book studies, we have classes. There are a couple of classes coming up that haven't started yet, and the book studies you can drop in and out of, so that they are super flexible. We also have a food market coming up, so there's all that really cool stuff going on. And the hot links in the email are hot. Did I say email info@creativelife.org? Probably. Okay. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a feeling secure day, a getting right with the universe day, a learning that optimistic outlook day, letting go of some stuff day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. Always. Okay? State of grace. It is granted. You don't have to earn it, and it can't be taken away. Okay. I'm going to move into the process of my day. And y'all take care of yourselves. Know that you're loved, and I will see you next time.